The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened in chaos. Ambassador Vexthor's crystalline appendages trembled as he addressed the assembly, his voice resonating through the translation matrix with unmistakable dread. "They've breached the quarantine zone." Silence fell across the chamber like a death shroud. For 3,000 cycles, the Sol system had been sealed behind an impenetrable barrier of gravitational anomalies and spatial distortions, a prison designed by the ancients themselves. Whatever horrors lurked within that cursed region were meant to remain there until the heat death of the universe. Yet now, a single vessel had emerged. Human, they called themselves. 6 months earlier, Earth orbit Daisy Chen floated in the observation deck of the ESS Prometheus, her reflection ghostly against the viewport. Behind her, the blue marble of Earth hung suspended in the infinite black, beautiful, dying, and completely alone. "Still can't believe we're actually doing this," Kevin Rodriguez said, drifting up beside her. His expression carried that same mixture of wonder and terror that had become commonplace among the crew. "We don't have a choice," Daisy replied, her voice steady despite the knot in her stomach. "The network is failing. The sun's output is decreasing. Whatever's keeping us locked in this system is killing us slowly. For as long as humanity had reached for the stars, they'd hit the same invisible wall. Every probe sent beyond the Kuiper Belt simply vanished. Every attempt to breach whatever surrounded their solar system failed catastrophically. Humanity had been trapped in a cage they couldn't see, and only recently had they discovered why. Something or someone had quarantined them. "You think the others will understand?" Kevin asked. "The ones out there?" Daisy touched the viewport, her fingers leaving condensation marks. "I think we're about to find out if we're the monsters they locked away." Present day, Galactic Council Chamber. The human ship was unlike anything in the Council's databases. Primitive by galactic standards, yet it had accomplished the impossible. The vessel's hull bore scars from its passage through the barrier, evidence of the raw determination that had driven its creators. "Open a channel," commanded High Arbiter Quell, his mandibles clicking nervously. "Let us see what fresh nightmare the ancients imprisoned." The holographic display shimmered to life, revealing 2 figures in the cramped bridge of the human vessel. A woman with dark hair tied back, her eyes sharp and calculating. A man with warm brown skin and a disarming smile that somehow made Quell more nervous than if he'd been brandishing weapons. "This is Lieutenant Daisy Chen of the Earth expeditionary ship Prometheus," the woman said. Her words translated instantly. "We come in peace, seeking knowledge and contact with other civilized species." Ambassador Vexthor's translator stuttered. "Peace, you speak of peace?" Kevin leaned forward in his chair. "Yeah, peace. You know, not war. We've been locked in our system for our entire history. We finally managed to break through, and we're hoping to join the galactic community." Horror rippled through the council chamber. The Zephan delegation evacuated immediately, their multiple legs carrying them to the exits in a skittering rush. The Morphids began secreting their defensive toxins, filling their section with a pale green mist. "You don't understand," Quell said, his voice grave. "Your system was quarantined for a reason. The ancients feared your kind above all others. The records, what little survived, speak of humanity as the galaxy's greatest threat." Daisy's expression hardened. "We've been isolated for thousands of years. We've built civilizations, created art, explored our own system. We've fought wars, yes, but we've also made peace. We're not monsters." "Not monsters," Vexthor whispered, pulling up ancient files. "Worse, survivors." The holographic display expanded, showing fragments of ancient records. Images of humans in environment suits walking on airless moons. Humans diving to crushing ocean depths. Humans surviving in deserts and tundras and jungles that killed every other species that attempted colonization. "The ancients studied you for centuries before they activated the quarantine," Quell explained, his voice heavy with dread. "They documented your species' singular terrifying trait, adaptability. Where other species require specific conditions to thrive, humans merely endure. You don't need paradise, you make paradise bend to you." Kevin exchanged a glance with Daisy. "And that's bad?" "It's unprecedented," Vexthor said. "Every species in this galaxy evolved in stable environments. We require careful maintenance of temperature, atmosphere, gravity. But humans pack themselves in metal boxes and shoot themselves into the void. You eat toxins for pleasure. You deliberately damage your bodies for recreation. The ancients calculated, Quell continued, that if humanity ever reached the stars, you would spread like wildfire. Not through conquest, through simple colonization. You would inhabit worlds we consider uninhabitable. You would thrive in conditions that kill. Within 10,000 cycles, humanity would occupy every available niche in the galaxy. Daisy's jaw tightened. So they imprisoned us, condemned us to a slow death as our star fades, as our resources dwindle. They chose species preservation over individual mercy, Quell admitted. The survival of thousands of civilizations over one. The bridge of the Prometheus fell silent. Then Kevin began to laugh, not maniacally but with genuine weary humor. You locked us away because we're too good at surviving? He shook his head. Do you have any idea what we've survived in that cage? Ice ages, plagues, asteroid impacts, world wars. We've been practicing apocalypse survival for millennia. Daisy straightened in her chair, and something in her posture made every council member instinctively recoil. Not aggression, determination. Here's what's going to happen, she said calmly. We're going to share our knowledge, our art, our science, our history, and in return you're going to teach us about the galaxy, because whether you like it or not, humanity is here now. And if we refuse? Quell asked, though he already knew the answer. Daisy's smile was neither cruel nor kind, simply honest. Then we'll figure it out ourselves. That's what humans do. We survive, we adapt, we overcome. She leaned forward. The question isn't whether humanity will spread to the stars. The question is whether you want us as partners or as problems. The council chamber erupted in debate, but Kevin could see it in their alien faces, in their agitated movements. They had already lost. The quarantine had only delayed the inevitable. Humanity had emerged from its cage and the galaxy would never be the same.